We got another episode of competition commentary right there. Chris Quirk on the left. He submitted this video. I train with Chris. He is Team Balance Baltimore. This is a week after he got his purple belt, and he is competing at, I believe it's Worlds, I guess Masters Worlds. Some big IBJJF tournament, but it is a Worlds tournament. And this is in 2023. I first met Chris in a competition, and he actually beat me. It was either 2-zip or I lost a decision. I can't remember if the takedown happened before or after the 4-minute mark. I believe he won 2-zip. He's a very hard person to move. And even then, he didn't know what he knows now. And it was really hard to make something happen against him. Right now, they're grip fighting. This is a very commonplace for a heavyweight match, just establishing a grip, especially in the gi. It's very hard to get past each other's frames and grips to get entries on the takedowns. His opponent had a cross collar looking like a standing choke attempt to try to get some sort of snap down, but Chris isn't having it. He's maintaining posture, barreling forward, starting to open his opponent's gi. Chris is also more of a no-gi guy. Yeah, he trains out of Baltimore, BJJ primarily, and his opponent pulls guard. I watched this match when it happened live. I happened to be watching this live. And also, Chris is going against the number 1 seed. So his opponent is the number 1 seed in this match. I don't remember much. I just remember the result. All right, Chris is standing here. Ooh, and that's my... good job maintaining base so far. Yeah, he dropped down to the knees. Came in. Oh, almost gets the pass. Can he get it? I don't remember if what the score was or what. Dang. His opponent just does a really good job of using those frames, keeping the feet in the way, turning his hips, sort of shrimping and blocking Chris's hips on the pass. We're going to watch this one through. I'm going to try not to rewind it much. It's a longer video, and then the second time through, we'll watch it twice through. The second time through, I'll pay attention more to the details. Let's just see how this goes. I don't know what you call this. I don't know if this is lasso, spider lasso, some other guard with a name like that. I don't know. Oh, pulls him into a triangle. At heavyweight, this is a risk. You get passed on a lot in this situation. He's switched his feet to more of a diamond triangle TP variation, not quite the full-on TP as it's taught. But it doesn't look like he has much choking pressure here, and it looks like his foot is about slid off. Doesn't look insanely strong. Chris is trying to pull out. Is he going to be able to pass to the right? His opponent is doing a good job keeping his hips squared up to not give Chris perpendicular position. Oh, we got Monroe Hall back there on the left, cheering Chris on. Chris has a good tripod position here to try to keep space. He's trying to find a way to get around those legs. He's trying, he's not able to pin his opponent's leg down. There he pins his opponent's leg down. But then, yeah, with the grips and the frames, it's just not coming easy. Oh, his opponent starts to get a Kimura grip, and Chris does a beautiful... I'm going to let this roll, but we're going to rewind that the next time it happens. But his opponent turtles into that pass, which I guess in IBJJF it does count for an advantage. but that is a great way to not give up points. If his opponent did not turtle there, he definitely would have gave up passing points. Now he's doing a decent job of avoiding back points. Chris is, he's trying. It looks like, I think the way Chris takes the back now, I don't think he would have sat to his own butt as fast as that. I think he would have tried to get his hooks in a bit more secured when his opponent was turtled or taking his time there. That looks like the match. His opponent did attack a little bit of an ankle lock at the end, but there was nothing there. Not enough to award any sort of advantage. I don't know how the advantages work at all. But no advantage. I don't think that makes a difference. I do know the result of this match, though. So you probably can already guess whose hand is going to get raised. Give it up for A.J. Lashovsky. No, I'm just kidding. Chris Quirk getting the win. Tough match. That 6 minutes really flew by. That was a 6-minute match. Wow. Let's take this from the top. All right, we got Chris coming out. They shake hands. They shake hands again. Oh, they slap and bump. His opponent was extra friendly there. Chris is, little feints. That's the big guy move. Let's just grab each other's lapels. That's the move too if you're not a gi guy. Like Chris is more of a no-gi guy. Let's just grab each other by the lapel. Head fighting. I like the head fighting. Chris is just so strong. Like, when I went against him, I remember I got underhooks a couple times, and then immediately I was like, oh, I don't even know if I want underhooks on this guy. And we are very different in our approach. Like, Chris, as you saw that pass earlier that we're going to watch again and some other things, Chris has some moves that he's very dedicated to, and he's disciplined in specific drills, whereas I'm more kind of all over conceptual, whatnot. Now, Chris does train at a gym where they do a lot of like motor learning, ecological approach, they call it. So he is definitely dynamic and versed in different things, and little trip attack. But he's disciplined with his moves, I would say. And that's a big deal in IBJJF. That's a big deal. Like that's what earns you these points sometimes. Not that there were points scored, but that's this style of like, that guy has probably drilled that guard pull before. And he winds up in closed guard. Let's back this up a second though. This is important to note. And it's like the big guy match is so different than a small guy match here. These grips here, like that level change, that was great for Chris not to just accept turtle. So many big guys probably go against him and they just stay down, not Chris. He's determined to keep his posture. He's determined to not give up two. And it's so important that he did not run one more time. Trying to get this to work. I'm hitting pause. My giant man fingers. So there, right there. I know it doesn't look like much, but a lot of guys would have just belly flopped there. Just accepted bottom turtle like a lot of big guys don't mind doing. But Chris is determined to not give up any points here. He's going to try to find his way to get inside. Probably, the trips are going to be tough at this distance. But again, his opponents had enough of dealing with him and sits guard. And to be honest, that lost the match for his opponent. Who was winning the stand-up? If that match stays on the feet, his opponent is the one that's able to keep distance and go for those snaps. This right here lost the match for his opponent, I would say. It all came down to the decision to pull guard against a guy you're not going to be able to break down. This is a great sweeping attempt. Chris uses it to get the guard open, to break open the guard, but then right back down to all fours, flat passing, great pressure. He's just trying to suck his opponent in, but his opponent is just relentless with frames. Using that lapel as a frame. See, your grips can be frames too. That collar grip is so dynamic because it can pull your opponents in and then it can immediately push your opponent away. Not a lot of things are like that in no-gi. This is just that push-pull positioning right here. Chris is going to he can't get his left hand back. That's the problem. He's got to find a way to break the grip here. But he's just probably content just weighing into the guy. But that left sleeve that he's controlling is what's preventing Chris from setting up any sort of pass. And that control is what led him into this triangle position. His opponent tries to get the angle, but this is just, honestly, it seemed like a good idea at the time to pull Chris into a triangle. It's not tight enough to earn you much in the way of the ref's view, I don't think. I don't think this looks like much of a submission attack. Yeah, I'm pulling on his head. I'm pulling on his head, ref. Like, that's about it. Because that looks like a triangle finishing mechanic, maybe he can sell the idea that he's going for a finish here. I think what happens is it switches to a Kimura grip, if I recall. Right about... No, maybe not. So Chris starts passing this direction, and then his opponent just gets the foot in the way, gets the frames in the way. So annoying to deal with. Honestly, for a heavyweight to move this way on bottom, this is what it takes to be high level in a points match. His opponent did get an advantage, I guess, for that triangle. I don't know. If I'm wrong, don't kill me. So this is where, yeah, right, perfectly timed. Almost gets the pin, but his opponent just knows how important it is to not give up those points. Watch this here. Some amazing jiu-jitsu by both of these guys at their weight, which is insane. Super heavyweight or ultra heavyweight, whatever the hell. That's a lot of heavyweight. Look at that. Look at this here. Ugh. See if Chris, I'm going to just back this up a little more. So Chris goes from right to left. He almost has it. His opponent throws the leg over. His opponent, that's it. When he gets the right leg on the inside of Chris's leg, Chris has the hand on the knee finally, though, and just couldn't quite. Oh, it's that grip of the sleeve. It's the grip of this sleeve. It's that left sleeve that has gotten in, that his opponent is able to use to then stuff Chris. He stuffs that arm to get back. Chris is in turtle here. He got an advantage for that turtling, which wins him the match back. That's what it took right there. Almost getting the pass. It's as good as getting the pass because, you know, ultimately he needed to even the score, and it leads to the win. Great control here. This is all weighing favor in the eye of the judge, who's going to have to decide somebody's hand to raise at the end. And Chris having this attack, even though he's not getting back points. Let's see this, though, again. I'm going to back this up. So, might as well just see this again. Beautiful pass attempt. And then great job by his opponent to stuff that arm into him to be able to spiral out and get on all fours, kind of just pencil roll of sorts, whatever you want to call it. Turtles up. Now, the Chris of now, I think, would be able to walk forward and then get his legs in that hole. This right here, Chris could take his time. He could really try to commit to getting his left hook in before sitting down like that, where his opponent can sort of fight with his arm and his leg to avoid giving up that second hook. But Chris does a great job here. Look what happens. Once he knows he's not going to get the back and his opponent starts to squirm away, he fights to get on top. Right there, he just accepts, he lets the guy roll, and then he's right back at it. Again, I think he's going to his back prematurely here, but it doesn't matter because he's in control and he's not giving up. The opponent has an escape option there. Great job by both guys there. This back escape attack here where the opponent turns into Chris's right arm. He's trying to beat that edge, and then Chris just turns back in with aggression. That was big because his opponent did come close to winding up on top, which would have made a big difference. Hell of a battle. Great way to start off Chris's purple belt competition career at, Worlds against the #1 seed. Chris won at blue belt. And here's a lesson, though. So you see how tired Chris is. To some guys, they don't get how tiring this is. That was insanely tiring for heavyweights. Chris did not go on to win Worlds this time, but I guess he won something. He did win Worlds at purple something. I don't know what. No-gi, gi, something. So it did come back around full circle. I'm just going to start this I'm just going to midway through and just let it play out while I talk for a couple more minutes. Yeah, so the energy output. Now, I don't know what the energy output was for Chris's opponents, but when you have a first match like this, like first match of the day, I'm 99% sure this was Chris's first match of the day. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it was his first match of the day. I don't know about anybody else, but it is tough to have a first match when, especially if you don't have the perfect warm-up and then all the adrenaline, all the nerves, you're in this tough battle. I feel like I get a lot of adrenaline dump, or if it's not adrenaline, I just don't have my timing and my feel right. I don't even feel good in my first round at the gym. So even if it's not adrenaline, it's hard to be at my best in the first round. And I'm sure it takes a little bit more out of you, or at least for a lot of us, to have that 0 to 100 first match that's this much of a fight. I mean, these guys are fighting tooth and nail to finish the pass and not let the pass happen. Look at that. The framing just to get stuff back in the way, and Chris is just relentlessly trying to get perpendicular and block the legs, block the hips, get past the hip line and stay past it. And it's a lot of work. And I think that affected Chris on his matches after this, but what a great way to come out here and beat this guy who was supposed to win. And a great learning lesson, and it probably gave him a lot of confidence moving forward. There's always that self-doubt that can creep in. I'm competing at the higher level. I'm competing against the #1 guy. You put the guys who go out and compete at this IBJJF, the highest level of stuff, it's like they put a lot of pressure on themselves to win. And you see that. Like, I see somebody who puts a lot of pressure on himself to be successful, to do the best he possibly can. And I don't have it in me to be like that. Like, I don't think I would beat either of these guys the way they're fighting unless I caught them in a submission. I don't think I could. I don't think I have it in me to just really try that damn hard for the inches. I mean, maybe I'd have to really train for it in a different way, a different mentality. Everything is just so important in this type of match. A gi match, IBJJF, the points, it's a different type of jiu-jitsu. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you win. You need to win. That's what you're competing to do. And right here, I don't care if it's 0 points and tied on an advantage, or Chris goes out there and guillotines the guy in 5 seconds. At the end of the day, Chris's hand gets raised. Great match. Great job, Chris. He's come a long way since then, too, and has gotten a lot better. So, awesome match. I bet you were, that's exciting to go out there and travel to something like that and make it happen and bring back, some success for your team like you do time and time again. The guy is always out there doing this and wins almost every time he competes on the IBJJF platform. So A ton of respect and kudos to Chris Quirk. Good stuff, man. Check out bjjshortcuts.com. I got some cool stuff coming up. I think that's about it.